Good afternoon. My name is Jim Terrell, T-E-R-R-E-L-L, and I know that you know Jolene and Francis Pusok. And we're here to talk about the charges that the district attorneys announced on 3 individuals of Downing, Foster, and Phelps. But before we do, we'd like to talk just a bit that we're grateful that any charges were filed, but how those charges got filed, who's the investigator, and how did this go on and start and get investigated, goes to the NBC news crew that actually filmed it, that were overhead in a helicopter. These officers would never have been charged if it wasn't for the fact they were caught and videoed doing something that we believe had been going on in San Bernardino then and since then with great frequency. This is nothing new. Sharon Bruner and I work on all these civil rights cases. Sharon and I have been contacted by the public since the NPAP. And the brutality that has been shown by some of these officers is not just limited to the beating of Mr. Francis Pusok. That is not the case at all. Now, as to the charges, 1 count each of felony for the 3. 1 count each. Mr. Pusok was overcharged criminally. We had to wait months and months for that. Months and months for the names of these people, and finally they come out with a charge. As far as myself as the attorney and Sharon Bruner, we both feel that that is inaccurate. We would like to have seen at least 8 individuals charged. And as far as charging them 1 each, when Mr. Pusok is charged in 17 counts, and the courts even said this is overcharged, you're making a bigger point. When they tried to put more bail on my client and keep him incarcerated, at the same time, is it just 1 count? I think if you watch the tapes, you're going to see that in one instance, for 4 minutes, one of the gentlemen, I believe it's Mr. Foster, is trying to kill my client. So not only grateful that someone captured it on the camera, but at some point law enforcement realized it, and then and only then the beating stopped. We think is that there should have been more charges made, more officers should have been charged, and we encourage the public that know of these officers and some of the 10 that are there and others that are involved in routine brutalizing the public, striking them, and they have one of them seems to feature going after the head of clients, and those are the type of people and individuals that both Sharon and I would like to hear more about from citizens. As far as anything's going on, we tell the public all the time, record it and then report it, and we need that more than ever before. Without getting to the media outlets, if they've got a recording of brutality, they need to get it to 274. They need to get it to a civil rights attorney. They can't hold it, and they need to get it out. And I think is that because it was recorded, because I think other than the Rodney King beating, this is perhaps the greatest example of the brutality that people have. And we've seen this type of brutality done for years and years on African Americans, on Hispanics, on the underprivileged whites. And every time they would complain, it's been mocked. It had been put in the side. Gays have suffered the same type of thing, been ridiculed and laughed at. Through this event, San Bernardino, our community here has got their eyes open, and they realize that this is what goes on all the time. Now, we are saddened that only 3 are charged, but we are grateful 3 have been charged. We're also grateful that Mr. Pusok is alive and well, and we're also grateful that Mr. Pusok wasn't charged with 10 counts of assault on a police officer. And that's what we believe to get out of the recording. So that's our take. And once again, we encourage the public to please, anytime you see anything out there, record it, please, and then report it. And that's the message, not just for myself, but the other attorney, Sharon Bruner.
And can we hear from Francis? Is that his reaction?
Pardon me?
Can we hear from him?
Yeah, you can. Do you have a question for him? Let's do it that way.
Before I do that, let me just... So in the 3 that were charged, how surprised are you that it was, to hear it from you versus the attorney, how surprised are you that it was only those 3?
I'm surprised about it.
And tell me why. What was going on? Why should other people have been charged based on what you were experiencing?
We anticipated at least 8 of the 10 to be charged.
And why 8? Just describe what the other 5 were doing.
Just based on the video itself.
Francis, do
Holding
you
down,
have...
kicking, can you just expand a little bit more?
Yeah, if I could just say that, is that when we went through the videos and when we took a look at it afterwards, not at the time Francis was obviously being beaten, his head was down trying to protect himself, but later on we did go through that, and we believe that 8 individuals were responsible, not just 3. We realize that the district attorney could take the most culpable with a felony, but that certainly doesn't mean the others could not have been charged. And also, we're still waiting for the sheriff to find out, if I may say, what actions do they have? Remember that every police officer had a responsibility to protect him when they saw that he was being brutalized. The protection just doesn't stop because it's another fellow officer. We'd like to see some more action. We felt there should have been a joint statement. If they're not charged, they're on paid administrative leave. They're not missing out on anything. Not anything, and we'd like to have seen that. Is there another question?
Francis, do you feel some sense of justice today? Do you feel redemption? Can you kind of describe when you heard about at least 3 of these deputies being charged, and after you see that video, you knew in your heart that you were getting beaten for no reason. How do you feel right now, finally hearing it from the DA?
I don't have any comments. I'm sorry.
Yeah. One of the things you got to realize, and I understand what Francis is coming through, is that Francis has been charged. He's got 17 counts. It's the same district attorney that selected only 3 is prosecuting my client. And one of the things that we've always felt is that there is a conflict going on here, and only 1 count each. We believe that that's it as well. So in a way, we don't want to be retaliated against even more by Ramos for any statement they would make as far as that kind of a message that way. But I can assure you that that's our position, that we're grateful that at least 3 have been charged.
Can I ask you, how has your life changed since April of this year when this happened? Emotionally, psychologically, after enduring what you went through? I know that you and your now wife, or are you engaged?
Engaged.
How has your life changed because of this?
I'm just grateful to be alive and get to spend my days with my family.
Jillian, do you have anything that you would like to say? Because you were part of this as well, and you've seen what Francis has gone through. Can you kind of give us an idea of what you both have gone through as a couple and then finally getting today?
It just, more than anything, seems like a struggle. You try to go back to your normal life, and we have done that. And then, something incredible will happen, like when we found out that they were charging him as well as me. And then it kind of just brings everything all back, all those same feelings, everything back. And then it kind of calms down again, and then they bring it up again. Now they're charging the deputies, and then it brings it all back. And it's just kind of like, is that the idea that the DA wants to put out there, is to keep bringing up, the negative situation that happened with the deputies? Do they want that continually in the limelight? It just seems it's interesting to me, and if it brings up feelings for me, I'd imagine it brings up feelings for the public as well.
Francis, how are you feeling physically, mentally? How are you doing?
A lot better.
A comfort's gone, though. A comfort is definitely gone, as far as, being able to trust those who you are supposed to automatically be able to trust. So once that's gone, that kind of, that'll change things.
Yeah, and I'd like, once again, is that to let the public know is that, and this is our constant message, myself and Sharon Bruner, and any other civil rights attorney, is please, when you see things out there, record it and then report it, and get it to a civil rights attorney, myself, Sharon Bruner. We both are involved in that, or any other attorney or news crew, whether it's 2 or 7 or NBC or anybody else, but get it out of your hands, so law enforcement can't take it away from you. And once again, we're glad that there was charges made. We wish there were more. We wish there had been more counts. because if you watch those tapes, and we hope you all play those tapes for the public, because it opens their eyes and they can see their community for how it really exists. And when you watch that, you realize that it should have been more than simply one count. There were breaks in the time when they go back and forth, when they go after Francis, when they try to hit him, and they're going for headshots. And each one of those was a separate act. It wasn't a fight. It was one continuous thing. It was separate times, and they were trying to definitely hurt him, incapacitate him, and cause grave bodily injury.
Do you see this as an escalating of events that took place from when it first started? I mean, had it terminated earlier, would this not have escalated?
Well, you know, is that only those people themselves, I believe from the officers that I see charged in some of the other histories, I don't think it would have mattered. I really believe that that it shows more and more that Francis Pusok had the right to run away from these people. They're savages. When you watch a guy beat somebody for 4 minutes, oh, if he'd have surrendered earlier, that'd have been it. No, if he'd have surrendered earlier, NBC News wouldn't have been there, and he might have been a dead person by that time. The second thing is that more of those officers would have had more time before they found out that they were, on camera and being recorded. And that may be the only reasons they're alive right now, or Francis is on that. So, and because there's charges pending on both these individuals, that's all that I have today, and that's the announcement we wanted to make.
Are you going to try to get any of those charges dismissed?
Every one of them. I promise every one of them I'm going to try. Absolutely. And I'd like to see the public get more outraged at this. I'm hoping you'll show that so it's not out of the public mind. Because other than Rodney King, it is the most brutal scene that you have. And everybody's acting like it's normal. By the way, when I first heard that we were going to have this, I didn't think it was on this case. I've been waiting every single day, along with my partner, Sharon Bruner. We've been waiting every single day for the federal indictment to come down on the West Valley Jail. That's another thing that's going. We've got a sheriff that's not coming out and telling us what's going on every single day. We've got 33 clients that were tased, that were brutalized, that were hurt. We're in federal court on that one right now. And we're waiting for the sheriff to come out on that one. And we're in contact with the FBI. They're running the grand jury. There's problems in San Bernardino. We're hopeful that you show this tape, that you show it once again what happened, and we're hoping that people that see that, see the officer's name, contact us with other brutality, because all this is very helpful to us, okay? And
Can I ask one question to Francis?
Well, why don't you ask me, and I'll see if Francis will take it.
Is Francis afraid of law enforcement today?
I can answer that for him. He'll say yes right now. He's been afraid of it since that time. Absolutely. Okay? And that's all we have for today. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jim.
Let's go. Thank you.
Thanks,
All right. Okay. You guys go back to me.